Anger and Resentment for Beginners.
I get so angry all the time.
What about?
Everything. The effing government, mostly.
Have you ever thought of standing for Parliament?
No, of course not. Only idiots and crooks and tossers do that.
I did it once. It's an interesting process, being shouted at by people who want to complain, but may be reluctant to do anything themselves.
It's the politicians who ought to get up off their arses.
I was brought up by a politician, my uncle, a socialist member of Parliament. He worked extremely hard trying to make the world a better place for other people.
Well, he didn't succeed, did he?
Nor did I all the time as a doctor. Some of my patients died. I didn't get them well from their cancers or prevent their heart attacks and other things.
Well, I expect you did your best.
So did my uncle. But when he was Foreign Secretary, some students in the Debating Society at Oxford hung an effigy of him from the balcony, by the neck.
Maybe that's what should happen to all of them. Teach them a lesson.
What lesson?
To listen to Joe Public.
They're elected to Parliament. We live in a democracy, not in a dictatorship.
But they don't do the right things for people like me.
Perhaps everyone says that. What else do you get angry about?
My daughter makes me angry.
That's not possible.
What do you mean? You don't know my daughter?
You don't know mine. She was wild when she was young. Most daughters are at war with their fathers at some time.
Didn't that make you angry?
Nothing and nobody can make me, or anyone else, angry.
Of course they can. Unless you're a Buddhist or something.
Being angry would be a choice of reaction. But we all have other choices.
Oh, the things my daughter does, dressing up like a tart, staying out all night, worrying her mother silly, that sort of thing, would make any man angry.
Would getting angry actually work in changing her behaviour?
It should do.
Maybe. But if it doesn't work, anger isn't a useful behaviour. You might like to try something different.
Such as what? You can't let children go totally wild, certainly not in these days.
Not any days, I agree. But there's no point in continuing a behaviour that isn't succeeding in its intention.
But it's her behaviour that has to change, not mine.
You and I are going round and round in circles on this, just as you are with your daughter.
Well, you're not listening to me.
I hear you very well, but I don't agree with your starting position. I don't think we can ever make anyone do anything, except in a police state.
But she's my daughter. What she does makes me angry.
No, that's not what happens. You choose to be angry because of your values. If you changed your values, you wouldn't be angry.
Well, I'm certainly not going to do that.
I'm not suggesting that you should. I'm just pointing out that getting angry with your daughter isn't a useful choice of behaviour, because it doesn't work.
Well, as I told you, it should.
But it doesn't. You and your wife might like to work out what else you could try.
We've tried everything.
Bringing up children is difficult. I know that. Because my wife and I did it with 3 wild ones.
Then what did you do wrong?
I did lots of things wrong. But my children have minds of their own. I'm very proud of them for that. They're certainly not clones of me or Meg, although I think they may have inherited the worst of me.
How do you mean?
I was a wild one myself. I still am, but in different ways. I get angry with ideas rather than people.
Oh, that's too fancy for me.
I don't think I can ever know enough about other people to be able to make a judgment on someone else's behaviour.
Not even your wife?
Not even Meg, although we were married for over 48 years until she died. And now my wife Pat and I share many experiences, but our backgrounds are very different, so I don't know her either.
So what do you do when you're angry?
I very rarely get angry nowadays. I don't find that it gets me the mutual happy relationships that I want. Anyway, the longer I work the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, the less I find to be angry about.
Don't you ever make a protest when things are wrong?
I write things rather than shout things. I think that stands a better chance of influencing other people.
How?
It works better for me as well as for other people when I keep a cool head.
Well, that's all right for you, but it wouldn't work for me and my daughter.
Writing things wouldn't work for my children either. I tried that. Anyway, they're all grown up now, and for all I know, they might well be getting grief from their own children.
Yeah, what goes around comes around.
That's right. There's no point in declaring World War III on our own families, although many people do. It's not a useful behavior. It doesn't bring us the happiness we look for.
So what do?
I don't try to change other people. I may not like some of the things my children and other members of my family do, but I love them just the same. I focus on changing my own behavior.
Are you some kind of saint?
My wife will soon put you right on that idea. No, but I know that I'm as responsible for my reactions as I am for my actions.
Well, I resent the way some people have behaved towards me, right from my childhood onwards.
Resentment won't get you very far. It's like taking a poison yourself and hoping that the other person will suffer.
I reckon they deserve whatever they get from me.
Alcoholics Anonymous refers to resentment as the number one offender because of the damage it does to ourselves.
Whatever.
We alcoholics or addicts of any kind get all our values mixed up. We treat our friends as enemies when they're really trying to help us.
Nobody tells me what to do.
Nor me. But I've had to learn, the hard way, to listen to people who've come through the same problems that I had.
But don't you resent people who do stupid things to you?
Nowadays, I don't stick around to let them do it twice.
But what about when you were a child?
I didn't know enough about where they were coming from. My parents had dreadful childhoods compared with mine, but they still treated me very lovingly as far as they knew how.
But I was bullied at school, and that's not right.
No, it isn't right. I had a lot of bullying myself. The important thing is that I didn't bully anyone else.
Why didn't you defend yourself or fight back?
I learned very early on that there's no point in fighting battles that I shall inevitably lose. I stand up for my opinions, but I'm not interested in physical, financial, or social power.
That's all right for you because you've got all those things anyway.
But it didn't matter to me when I lost them all, when a fraud resulted in my bankruptcy.
And you're a wimp.
Nope, I'm a survivor, because I don't fight back. My parents and teachers and many other people survived what I did to them when I was young. Nowadays, I get on with my life and make the best of it.
How do you do that without fighting people?
I told you, I don't fight people at any time. I fight ideas. I don't envy other people either. I'm grateful just to be alive, to enjoy being married and to do my work as well as I can.
You don't know how the other half lives. Working people like me.
You may be right. I'm not going to fight you over it. Perhaps you could teach me a lot of useful things. I'm always glad to learn something from anybody. That's fun.
How will all this help me with my daughter?
You might try asking her to teach you about something she knows.
All she does is listen to that stupid music of hers.
Try asking her to teach you the steps to Gangnam Style.
What in God's name is that?
Ask your daughter. Respect her for what she does do. My daughter's a wonderful parent, and so are my sons, far better than I ever was.
You were probably too busy.
I was busy, that's true, but I was too tied up in myself, too self-centred and self-opinionated.
But what about all those bullies at school? I suppose you just forgive and forget.
I don't forget. It really did happen, in several very unpleasant ways. But yes, I suppose I forgive them. I don't think about it, really. We were all young, and boarding schools are odd places.
Don't you want to get your own back?
No. That would be giving them the power to shape my behaviour. I choose what I do, and I don't want to be like them.
So what do you do?
I keep my side of the street clean as best I can. When I've made a mistake or done something stupid, I acknowledge it, and I try to make it up to the people I've hurt. On top of that, I want to be professional, and I want to be kind. That's a full-time job. I can't be bothered to fill up my head with resentments.
I give myself a lot of grief sometimes.
You might try being kinder to yourself. Do things that make you feel really good about yourself.
What, like going to football?
Yes, if you like. And remember the golden rule. Do as you would be done by.
With Arsenal supporters? You must be joking.
Well, maybe I wouldn't go that far.